Namo Vishnu Hare Krishna Prasaya Bhutale. Srimati Bhakti Dhira Swami Namaste Krishna Parashitanya Shri Gaura Karuna Sakti Bhakti Dhira. Namo Vishnu Hare Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Vani Prachari Nirvisesa Sanyavadi Bhakti Satya Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyanandana Salapayam Chakshudam Militanjana Tasmai Sri Guru Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Savitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Kadati Swapadam Tikam Vandiham Shri Gurun Shri Tapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Shagadatam Sahagana Radhanatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sivisakam Vitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namaste Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhana Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakal Pataru Vyascha Vipasandhidevacha Patitanam Pavnevyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srimad Bhagavad Gita Siddhis Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we are very happy to be with all of you today. We continue our discussion on the different types of sacrifices from Bhagavad Gita Siddhi chapter 4. And today we continue from text 30, 31 to 33. All right. Sarve Pyeti Jagya Vidu Jagya Shatpita Kalmasa Jagya Sista Mrta Bhuyo Yanti Brahma Sanatanam Sarve Pyeti Jagya Vidu Jagya Shatpita Kalmasa Jagya Sista Mrta Bhuyo Yanti Brahma Sanatanam Sarve Pyete Jagya Vidu Jagya Sapita Kalmasaha Jagya Sistamrta Bhujo Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. Translation and purport. A divine grace is a Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar or the result of sacrifices, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. Jagya Sitamrita Bhujo Janti Brahma Sanatana. Having tasted the nectar of the result of sacrifices, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. Purport. From the foregoing explanation of different types of sacrifice, namely sacrifice of one's possessions, study of the Vedas, of philosophical doctrines and performance of the yoga system, it is found that the common aim of all is to control the senses. Sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. Therefore, unless and until one is situated on a platform apart from sense gratification, there is no chance of being elevated to the eternal platform of full knowledge, full bliss, and full life. This platform is in the eternal atmosphere, or Brahman atmosphere. All the above mentioned sacrifices help one to become cleansed of the sinful reactions of material existence. By this advancement in life, not only does one become happy and opulent in this life, but also at the end, he enters in the eternal kingdom of God, either merging into the impersonal Brahman or associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Yes. So what is this? What is this sense control? What is this jagya? What is this jagya that we are discussing? What is it? The Prophet mentioned here. It is meant for sense control. All the sacrifices, the regulations is for sense control, is to control the senses. And from the foregoing explanations of different types of sacrifice, namely sacrifice of one position, why? When one is sacrificing position, we will labor to get these things before gratification of the senses. We have not seen someone working and just for everybody, except one is Mr. Water or Mr. Tree or Mother Cow. The cow never drinks the milk it gives. So the cow is standing for others, not for herself. The trees never eat the fruit they produce. The trees are standing for others. Water also never drink water. Water stands for others. So these three persons are standing for others. All others are selfish. Therefore, it becomes a sacrifice if one is working very hard and not for sense gratification. One is using what one has, what one has earned with labor. When one is using what one have earned with labor in helping others, that becomes a sacrifice. One is using what we have seriously labored for to support others' existence, to support the Christian consciousness, to advance our own life. This is sacrifice. The sacrifice. So it is for a purpose of sense control. It is for our own elevation to higher level. Why? Prophet said, sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. Therefore, unless and until one is situated in a platform apart from sense gratification, there is no chance of being elevated to the eternal platform of full knowledge, full bliss, and full life. To get to this state, sacrifice is regulated. Just like every electronics, now we have a remote control for our electronics. We have a remote control. We also have a regulator for fan, understanding of ceiling fan. There is a remote control. There is a control regulator. Why regulator? Regulation, it is meant for facilitating the best service from our positions. So we regulate the fan according to the nature of the weather. So we can have a best cooling system for us to, or cooling atmosphere for us to either peacefully gratify the senses, or we can peacefully practice personal consciousness. For both ways, there's a need for regulation. So regulation is meant for achieving something very, very hard, something. Opposite sense control is sense gratification. And Prabhupada said here, we cannot become peaceful, we cannot achieve eternality, we can't experience eternality, neither will we have a blissful situation if we continue with sense gratification. Therefore, jagya is necessary for self-control. So what is the result of this sense control? What is the result? Prabhupada explained in the purport. All the above mentioned sacrifices help one become cleansed. Help one become cleansed of the sinful reactions of material existence. Material existence is sinful life. Material existence is sinful. It's sinful life. And the process of controlling the senses is a process of freedom from sinful life. So Prabhupada said here, one becomes cleansed. Jagya Shista Amrita. Shista Amrita. Amrita. It is a nectar. This is for nectar, which we are, according to Chaitanya, which we are always anxious. We are always anxious. What we are eagerly expecting in all of our endeavors can manifest only by sacrifice. Sacrifice. So we see in the past, people will, with all the intelligence, all the people are very intelligent. They will give up their opulent position, their kingdom, their beautiful and the sweet queens with opulences and with all the riches they have. They will voluntarily give them up and go to the forest to practice purification of the senses. Why? Something high or something high. Vidura came back after he was insulted and banished from the kingdom. He went on pilgrimage. Why? Sacrifice. He did sacrifice of visiting all the whole places. When Vidura started his pilgrimage, Lord Krishna was present on the planet. But Vidura didn't go there. Vidura said, I have had a bad association with the ill-motivated distresser and the cunning and crooked Sakuni and wicked Dhira. Therefore, I need sacrifice to purify myself before I can go to Lord Krishna. So he went on pilgrimage. And at the successful performance of his jagya, or sacrifice in visiting holy place and getting purified, he came back to the house not to come and request for the share of the king, but to come and give valuable instruction to his blind distressor. He came to him and chastised him heavily. You are a shameless dog. A people whom you try many times to kill, they are now maintaining you. You have no brain, you have no intelligence. Can't you think that they can also, if they are like you, they will also revenge and kill you. But because they are not like you, if we are sitting here comfortably and shamelessly accepting all the hospitality they are given to you, it's a shame. Even though you are doing this and because they are devoted, they are not going to retaliate. It is shameful for you to be here. You better get out of here. Go and purify yourself by your austerities. Go, get out and purify yourself. In this way, he kicked out this rasta to go and purify himself. So sacrifice is the preparation for a better life. Better life. So Prabhupada said, all the above mentioned sacrifices help one become cleansed of the reactions, of the sinful reactions of materialism. By this advancement in life, one not only does one become happy and opulent in this life, but also at the end, he enters into the eternal kingdom of God, either merging into the impersonal Brahman, for the impersonal, for the Gyanis. For the Gyanis, they merge there. But for the devotees, they will be promoted to meet the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, and have a personal association with him. They will have personal association. They will see him face to face. They will play with him. They will enjoy with him. They will inherit all the 6 opulences of Krishna in full and have that life. For us to have that life, sacrifice is necessary. Sacrifice is necessary for purification. Text number 31. 31. Nayam lokosta ya jagyasya utondia kurusatama. What base of the Kuru dynasty? Without sacrifice, one can never, live happily on this planet or in the next. What then of the next? What base of the Kuru dynasty? Without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet. Yes, on this planet or in this life. Or then of the next. Our present situation is our future. Our present life is a preparation for the future. So Krishna is teaching us, if we are not happy now, if we don't have life now, we don't have life in the future. That is simple. So in Krishna consciousness, one can predict the future. We can predict the future. By looking at the present, you can see the future. Obey to the Kuru dynasty without sacrifice, without the process of sense control. One can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next life? There's no life. Really, there is no life. There is no life if you don't have life. There's no life in the next. So Prabhupada is speaking in purpose. A Krishna conscious person, however, being always situated in the transcendental living service of the Lord, automatically becomes the controller of the senses. His senses being always engaged in the service of Krishna. That is a prerogative of a devotee in Krishna consciousness. What is that prerogative? A Krishna conscious person, who is that a Krishna conscious person? Prabhupada said, one who is always situated in the transcendental loving service of Krishna. That is a Krishna conscious person. It is not just a name, a quality, a qualification. A Krishna conscious person is one who is always situated in loving service of Krishna. What is his situation? He has automatic control of the senses. Automatic control of the senses. His sense is being always engaged in the service of Krishna. Have no chance of becoming otherwise engaged. When the senses are engaged in Krishna, there is no chance. There is no chance that the senses will do something else. It doesn't exist. If the mind is fully absorbed in something, you don't remember something else. It is only that object which has taken over the attention of the mind that becomes prominent in the mind. The same with all other senses, which always engaged in Krishna consciousness. The senses are fully absorbed in Krishna in different ways. And our acharyas, they have arranged different ways that our senses can be fully busy with, that we don't have any chance for something else. For example, one is cooking. We have to think about the quality of the food items we're going to get for Krishna. When we want to think about the quality of the things I'm going to use to cook. That is Krishna consciousness. It could be the material items we're thinking, yes, but looking at the quality of that items we're getting for Krishna. Because intention is to make Krishna happy. So even to purchase it, we are thinking, even before purchasing, we're thinking, which supermarket, which market I can go that I will get the best quality items. Yes. Or yeah, the facility to purchase that. Then we're thinking of how to prepare it while cooking. We're thinking how to prepare it in such a way like Mother Yashoda said, today I want to prepare this yogurt. I will prepare this yogurt personally. One, I will show my boy Krishna the love I have for him. Two, I'm going to make this so tasty that Narayan will enjoy it. Three, when Narayan enjoy this, he's going to be very happy to give very long life to my son. This is Krishna consciousness. So when Prabhupada said the senses are fully engaged, this is what it means. Not whimsical, the senses are fully engaged. They're thinking everything. I'm going to do arati, yes. I'm going to do arati and think, yes. How to see the personalities present, and I'm standing with persons, offering these items for their pleasure, attentively for their satisfaction, for their enjoyment, for their pleasure. This is Krishna consciousness. The senses are fully absorbed, engaged. One is singing it, yes, this is my offering to Krishna. So my mind has to be on the song I'm singing. What is the meaning of the song I'm singing? The mind is thinking about that. So it is a Krishna conscious person because all the senses are fully engaged in the service of Krishna. Therefore, there is no question, there's no chance that the senses are going to go anywhere. Everything is fixed within Krishna. What we see is within Krishna. So at the end of life, he is naturally transferred to the transcendental plane of Lord Krishna. Consequently, he makes no attempt to increase his longevity. He is at once raised to the platform of liberation, as stated in the Gita 14:26. Mam Chayo de Dicharina. What Yogana said that. Saguna Sami Titaitan. One who engages in unalloyed devotion service to the Lord transcends the mode of material nature and is immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. One who engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. Transcend the mood. Transcend the mood. Yes, I'm a question. How have I transcended the mood? Because my senses are still wandering, and the mood are still acting on me. How have I transcended that? I still feel sleepy on that. I still feel sleepy in the class. How have I transcended the mood? What is the sign that I'm transcending the mood? Because I'm still feeling sleepy in the class. I still feel sleepy in Japan. What is the sign that I'm transcending the mood? And I also feel angry sometimes. And I feel all those unnecessary things. I still feel them. So what is this proof? The proof is that although we still feel these things, but we still continue to practice. That means we are transcending. We are transcending the mood. If we are not transcending, we'll have stopped. But the fact that we continue and putting effort in the practice, despite all this, all what is happening, we still put our mind, we still stick our head there, and we're making a lot of effort. That is a sign of transcendence, and eventually it will become a reality. Therefore, there is no falling down, and ultimately he enters into the abode of the Lord without delay. The practice of reduced eating is automatically done when one eats only Krishna Prasad, or food which is offered first to the Lord. Reducing the eating process is very helpful in a matter of sense control. Going back. Okay. Yeah. I've gone back. Sorry. When text 31, yeah, text 31. I went back to text to the previous text. 29. It is part of the process of control senses. So yes, whatever form of material resistance one is in, one is invariably ignorant of his real position, real situation. In other words, existence in the material world is due to the multiple reactions of our sinful lives. Ignorance is a cause of sinful life, and sinful life is the cause of one's dragging on in material existence. The human form of life is the only loophole by which one can get out of this entanglement. The Vedas, therefore, give us a chance for escape by pointing out the paths of religion, economic comfort, regulated sense of education, and at last, a means to get out of the miserable condition entirely. The part of religion or the different kinds of sacrifice recommended above automatically solves our economic problems. By performance of Jagya, we can have enough food, enough milk, etc. Even if there is a so-called increase of population, there is nothing like overpopulation, because animal species are 8 million. The human race is only 400,000. So how is that overpopulation? There's nothing like overpopulation. Overpopulation would mean that Lord Krishna is not capable of maintaining what he has created. That is ignorance on our part. So that does not exist. Overpopulation does not exist. It is only conceived by ignorant people. Krishna is in control of everything. What is overpopulation? Krishna is maintaining billions and trillions and zillions of universes. We have never seen one day that light is short or water is short. They are always in existence, supplying. We have not seen that one day there's not. Even if someone is suffocating. If someone is suffocating, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just that we have acted in such a way that the value has become displeased with us. Not that it's not there. We are using oxygen. This is a reaction of our simple. So there's no scarcity. The scarcity is due to human greed. When the body is fully supplied, naturally, the next stage is to satisfy the senses. The Vedas prescribe, therefore, sacred marriage for regulated sense gratification. Thereby, one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage. And the highest perfection of liberated life is to associate with the Supreme Lord. Perfection is achieved by performance of yajna, sacrifice, as described above. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform yajna according to the Vedas, how can he expect a happy life, even in this body? And what to speak of another body, on another planet? There are different grades of material comfort in different planets, different heavenly planets. And in all cases, there is immense happiness for persons engaged in different kinds of yajna. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planet by practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. That is all. As the Prabhupada have mentioned many times, the only thing missing, the only thing which is missing is no Krishna. As soon as we add Krishna to our life, everything else becomes complete. Everything becomes complete. Everything becomes perfect. As soon as Krishna enters inside. That we already see. That we already see. The moment the Krishna enters into the house, that the house is no more a house, now it is a temple. The moment Krishna enters there, the Krishna is everywhere. But when Krishna is significantly present as in the form of his deity, it becomes a temple automatically. And that principle applies to everything else. When Krishna enters into the sound, Krishna is over there, I am the sound in the ether, Krishna mentioned that. But when it is significantly experienced or perceived or realized, that becomes what? The Mahamantra, the Hare Krishna. When Krishna enters, the food becomes prasada. So everything else becomes transformed. The moment everything is in connection with Krishna, everything becomes completely beautiful, perfect, and complete. So one is said to have a perfect life only if we are developing Krishna consciousness. The Prophet said that is the life of perfection. That is real existence. Without Krishna consciousness, we are not existing. We are not existing. Existence comes in only when we add the Krishna to our life. That is existence. That's existence. Other than that, it did not exist, it is someone else. Yes, 32. Text 32. Evam bahuvida jagya vitata brahmano mukke karmajan iditan saravan evam yatva mokshase. All these different types of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas. And all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. You will become liberated. Different types of sacrifice, as discussed above, are mentioned in the Vedas to suit the different types of work. Because men are so deeply absorbed in the bodily concept, these sacrifices are so arranged that one can work either with the body, with the mind, or with the intelligence. But all of them are recommended for ultimately bringing about liberation of the body. This is confirmed by the Lord herewith from his own mouth. Yes. Different types of sacrifice as discussed above are mentioned in the Vedas to suit the different types of worker. Different type. Those on the body, the mind, and intelligence. They are all the kind mercy of the Vedas and the sadhus. Looking at our condition, they know we belong to different categories. Therefore, they recommend. When Dhira Damodara met Maharaj Prachin about his son, he didn't tell him about self-realization. Because his level was very low, he would not be able to understand the soul. So Dhira Damodara started talking to him about the thing that he's very close with, that he can understand. He started telling stories about a person who is a sense certified. Another was speaking to him about that, which is himself. But Dhira Damodara didn't tell him you are sense certified. He gave a very beautiful story. By the time he finished telling his story and brought out the purpose, Maharaj Prachin himself was transformed. He could be able to understand that he was the one being discussed. So he realized that the effect of the association with the sadhu was very miraculous because he was open. And he took it up very seriously. And he went into performing it. He was engaged in mundane jagya, sacrificing a lot of the animals. But Ramuni changed that to a different sacrifice. And he has to do an elevated sacrifice, or sacrificing his position, sacrificing different aspects of his sanctification to attain some elevation in yoga. It's a very sacrifice. Beginning from the body to the mind and the intelligence, and ultimately the transcendental, the jagya, for his elevation. 33. The last one. Shreyan Dravyamaya Jagya Jnana Jagya Paran Patapa Saravam Parama Kilam Tarta Yane Pari Samakate. O chasers of the enemy, a sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, also no Pruta, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. Yes. Professor ends here. And from 34 to the end, Krishna will summarize the knowledge he has given in this chapter. So the sacrifice ends here. Or chastise of the enemy. When we hear this in the scripture, when we hear this chastise of the enemy, the conqueror of the enemy, we usually hear this. Krishna is calling Arjuna here, or chastise of the enemy. Who is the enemy? Or conqueror of the enemy? Who is that? The Parishman is described like this, Arjuna is described like this, and all the exalted devotees are described. They are described like this. Means what? They have conquered the enemy, the senses. They have conquered the senses. Not just our physical. And people we consider enemy, they are not the real enemy. The real enemy is loss, greed, anger, etc. These are the enemy. So Arjuna is a conqueror, the chastiser, because what he has, he subjugated the senses, that the senses do not control him. Therefore, he is called here the chastiser, or the conqueror of enemies. So, Prabhupada said, the purpose of all sacrifices is to arrive at the status of what? Complete knowledge. Then to get released from material miseries. And ultimately, to engage in loving transcendental service to the Supreme Lord Krishna. The Supreme Lord Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness. So what do we learn from here? If we perform our prescribed duties, engaging our senses fully in all sacrifices, it is very natural the senses will become purified. When the senses become purified, we are going to develop knowledge. Without knowledge, Krishna said here, the purpose of all sacrifices is to arrive at the status of complete knowledge. The senses will get purified from all the contaminations, and knowledge will develop. Then to gain release from material miseries, and ultimately to engage in the loving transcendental service to the Supreme Lord, Krishna consciousness. This is how one is known. One is known to be in knowledge if we have surrendered ourselves to Krishna. One is not said to be in knowledge if one is not a devotee of Krishna. One is in knowledge only if one has taken to Krishna consciousness. And the culmination of all the sacrifice, the main reason why they bear us, the scripture, the Krishna is describing all these variety of sacrifices is what? To lead us to come to knowledge that will help us to surrender to Krishna, to taking full shelter for the Supreme Person. Nonetheless, there is a mystery about all these different activities of sacrifice. And one should know this mystery. What is that mystery? Sacrifices sometimes take different forms according to the particular faith of the performer. When one's faith reaches the stage of transcendental knowledge, the performer of sacrifices should be considered more advanced than those who simply sacrifice material possessions without knowledge, with such knowledge. For without attainment of knowledge, Sacrifices remain on the material platform and bestow no spiritual benefit. We give example of Maharaj Bhakti Dhira Damodara. He was engaged in sacrifice every day. Varieties of sacrifices were performing, but he did not develop knowledge. He does not develop faith in Krishna. Only until when a devotee came in, and when he came into his life and showed him the path, that the sacrifice which was performing yielded the result, that he developed the knowledge to understand that he has to perform a higher. For the purpose of all these yajna is to develop knowledge, intelligence to take the Krishna consciousness. Real knowledge culminates in Krishna consciousness, a higher stage of transcendental knowledge. Without the elevation of knowledge, sacrifices are simply material activities. When, however, they are elevated to the level of transcendental knowledge, all such activities enter into the spiritual platform, depending on differences in consciousness. Sacrificial activities are sometimes called karma kan, fruitive, and sometimes jnana kan, knowledge in the pursuit of truth. It is better when the end is knowledge in Krishna consciousness. It is better when it ends in Krishna consciousness. If it does not end in Krishna consciousness, it's not knowledge. It's something else. It's something else. Hare Krishna. I don't know if there's some comment or questions. We have a few minutes.
Hare Krishna. If any devotee has their question, they can raise their hand or they can type in the chat box. Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you.
Guru Maharaj, we see that we have different types of performers for the sacrifice. We have different types of performers. Those who are on the body platform. There's also those who are on the mental platform and intellectual platform. So we see there is a gradual rise from bodily to the intellectual level. So can we just go directly to the intellectual level? And if we do so, we did not hamper the process of gradual elevation, like taking the example of the yoga ladder.
No, taking to Krishna consciousness, you know what it means? That's what we have done. Coming to Krishna consciousness, we have, before one has to serve as a Sudra, then to Vaishya in the next life, then to Kshatriya in the next life, then to Brahmana in the next life. After Brahmana, then we become a Vaishya. That's a devotee. Now we have jumped from Sudra, less than Sudra. We have jumped from less than Sudra to Vaishnava. That's what we have done. So one wouldn't know on the mundane platform, one wouldn't know how transcendental is this Krishna consciousness. That was the difficulty between Daksha and Ramuni. Daksha did not know the higher level of Krishna consciousness. When Ramuni liberated his son, Daksha became very angry. You are a rascal. You don't know anything. You are a rascal. You did not allow my children to experience self-gratification and suffer and learn from it. And then gradually, when you become old, then you can start thinking of a renunciation. Then you did not give my children a chance to suffer like me and pass through all the different complicated situations. You just gave them a promotion to the highest level. This is rascality. Therefore, I curse you. You would never say in one place. So you don't have chance to destroy other people's children. That was the ignorance, the problem of Daksha. That he didn't know the transcendental position of devotees like Narada Muni and the platform of the supreme position of Krishna consciousness. So it is not necessary. It is not necessary. If we are very, very fortunate, if you are very, very fortunate, so Krishna consciousness is a fortunate organization. So it creates our fortune. So we can get promotion. If Krishna consciousness is not there, then okay, we can go through all these different situations like that and come to this position. But once Krishna consciousness is there, to take full advantage. It is difficult, but there is a chance that we become successful. If we sincerely follow what acharyas are telling us to do, if we sincerely follow, there is a guarantee of success. So Papa said it many times. Stick to this process. Just stick to this process I have given to you. That success is guaranteed. See, Prabhupada was very convinced about what he had given to us. He's fully convinced by what he had given. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Now we have one question from chat box by Madhvi Manjiri Mataji, in which she says, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. What is the meaning of realization that you're not this body, but spirit soul? What are the objective symptoms?
Yeah, thank you for the next question. Srila Prabhupada mentioned in a first canto, the purport in first canto, just to realize Aham Brahmasmi is not enough. The spiritual, and then what? If you're spiritual, so what? See, he said that is impersonalism. Aham Brahmasmi, that's impersonalism. So if I'm not this body, what I am? What am I? I'm a spirit soul. If we are spirit souls, then we should be engaged in activities of the spirit soul. That is Aham Brahmasmi. That is objective. That is a symptoms that we are fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. That's the meaning that we are not this body, we are spiritual. Not just speaking the philosophy. We have been speaking the philosophy and still do nonsense. I'm not the body, but we're sleeping, we are eating, we're doing so many things, which are all the body activities. So what does it mean that we are not the body? The spirit soul is that now we are functioning on the spiritual platform. We are doing activities which are meant for the spiritual. So we are fixed on chanting at the same time. We are fixed at giving up all the sinful activities which we shouldn't do, activities which are not meant for human beings. We give them up without regret. And we accept all the activities meant for the spiritual soul, even if we don't like, but we accept them fully and happy with them. That is the sign that I am a spiritual. If you're not on this level, we are on the body. We can say it, but we're still on the body. Our actions will tell what we are, not just our philosophy. And I remember many years back, a devotee was giving our Gita class. He was giving about class. And this is chapter 2, not the body. He was speaking. In the evening, about Gita, after the RT, he was speaking. And the rain was about to fall. So he's speaking, I'm not the body. We are spirit soul. The wind blew the Sanskrit board. The wind came in, blew the Sanskrit board and slapped it on the ground. Bah! Immediately the speaker jumped up from the asana. But he was speaking, I'm not the body. So what is that? Is the body or spiritual? The spiritual will remain there on the asana. He's speaking in transcendental knowledge, but he jumped after the asana. So we can speak the philosophy. And just a little headache, will not attend Mangalarati. Oh, I'm sick. No Mangalarati. No job. I'm sick. So what is that? The body or not the body? We are not the body means that we are acting on the spiritual platform, executing Krishna consciousness with all of us, sincerely from our heart, knowing fully well that this is the activity of the spiritual, and not giving into the body. It's not that we shouldn't take medicine because we are spiritual. No, not like that. But we know that I am doing this to keep this body for my ultimate duty. Devotional service. I know mundane activity can affect that, can stop me from doing what I'm supposed to do in Christian consciousness. That is, I'm not the body. All right.
Yes, Gurudev. We don't have much questions left for now. We don't have any questions.
All right. Another Prabhu's question is finished?
Yes. Okay. Prabhuji, please unmute yourself.
Yes, Maharaj.
Very great.
There was one phrase that you used during the lecture, that our life in the present Krishna consciousness life, it will determine what kind of life we'll be getting in the next.
Yes.
In relation to this phrase, if a devotee is practicing his Krishna consciousness and he is always miserable, he's not like blissful, does it mean that it will reflect the same in the next?
Yes. Yes, that is the future. That is the future. The present activity, the present existence, the present life is the future. That is our future. So one is miserable, always miserable. We're not doing something which is wonderful, which is very sweet, which is bright. So it means what? Miserable life means what? You see, ignore that. It's illusion. That is our future. We're going to take a very low bet in the next life. That is sure. If we have a bright life, and we know, yes, we're going to have a bright future. A devotee who is always morose, complaining, lamenting, angry, that is the future. We're going to get a life that is miserable. So we should be careful with what we are preoccupying our consciousness with every day. We should look at that very carefully. It's not for somebody, it is for ourselves, because that is our future. Not that somebody is going to live that life for us. We are going to live that life, we are preparing ourselves. Yes, that is the future. You see someone with a bright light is happy, satisfied. Yeah, that is the future. We're going to have a good life. Because that is what is cultivated. Gita told us that whatever we remember at the time of day, we are going to take to that without fear. This is what Gita said. So what are we going to remember? What the miserable person will remember? Krishna consciousness? Never. We remember Krishna? Never. You not remember Krishna because I know what he's practicing. That's what he's practicing every day. And people who constantly think of problem, lamenting their problem, would always have problem because that is the deity they're meditating upon. The deity is not Krishna, the deity is problem. So we are going to get that. That is okay. Even if the situation is there and that has become our focus, it is our situation. We are going to take to that with us. We will remember all the different problems. So we'll be given a problematic body next life. So we can continue. That's the deity we're meditating on problems. Get it. Prabhupada did not give us movement for that. He gave us a movement to practice Krishna consciousness happily. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Guru Maharaj. There's one more clarification, Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
You mentioned that our acharyas, they have designed ways and means to have us fully engaged in spirituality. Then you mentioned about quality. So I could not pick about what you mean about the quality.
Quality, I give example. We are going, for example, I want to cook. So we look at the quality of the things, the item we're going to cook for Krishna to make him happy. It's not just activity. We are going to perfect that activity.
Yes.
So a person who is going to use anything, you want to use anything without considering the quality of the items you're going to cook. That is a poor offering. That's literally a poor offering. That means we're not conscious. But the devotee is conscious of the items you're going to use. Which market as you go to buy all this quality thing I need. And this what kind of a kitchen I need, what kind of consciousness as you need as you maintain for cooking this offering to Krishna. That is the future. As a quality we are talking about. So it should be considered. All right.
Yes. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. And
Just
to complement, you mentioned that when one is in Krishna consciousness, then it is a solution to all our problems.
yes.
And we have like a similar verse in Srimad Bhagavatam where it is mentioned that the Bhagavatam is a solution for all. You often quote that is a solution for all problems.
That is second canto, chapter 10. That's the heading.
Yes.
It's not the text, it's the heading.
Yes. Just to show a parallel between what you said and
Can be Hariko.
Hare Krishna, Shri Gurudev, please kindly accept our most humble obeisances into your divine lotus feet. Thank you very much, Shri Gurudev, for your very wonderful class. Shri Gurudev, just a question. What is the consequences of making a false criticism about a devotee in the assembly of devotees?
So the Bhakti Dhira Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada said the easiest way and the surest way for anyone to go to hell is to blaspheme devotees. And the surest way to go to hell. And that is for the person who is criticizing blaspheming devotees. So what is the destination for a person who is also affected by that? What's the destination for the person? The person also will be miserable. Miserable, happy. And it has a, like we're speaking about. The future is the person also going to have a miserable future because that is what the person is thinking. And the end of life is going to get to a miserable life also. So both of them has nice to be conscious of this. So that even though we have such a system, we're not affected, neither should we also be in such a situation. We shouldn't be in such a situation. That's what our Acharya said. All right.
Yes, Shri Gurudev, thank you very much for clarifying about this. Hare Krishna, Shri Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
We have one question again by Madhvi Manjiri Mataji. So her question is, if the mercy of spiritual master and mercy of the Supreme Lord identical, when we perceive some mercy, could we take it as Lord mercy or Guru's mercy?
Can you repeat? Sorry.
Yes, sure, Guru. Sure. Is the mercy of spiritual master and mercy of the Supreme Lord identical? When we perceive some mercy, could we take it as Lord mercy or Guru's mercy?
They are not different. They are not different. The mercy of Guru is coming from Krishna, so they are not different. Same. Yeah. You cannot separate bona fide Guru from Krishna. They are the same. If the Guru didn't give blessing, Krishna will not give blessing. So it's the same. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, every devotee. We are very grateful to all of you for joining today's session. Thank you so much. We are very grateful, Gurudev, to you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Shri Bhakti Dhira Damodara Maharaj ki
Jai.
Shri Bhakti Dhira Swami ki jai.
Jai.